Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my garden on this rather grim grey winter's day. But to be fair, it's mild and there is no rain, so it is a perfect day to get out here and do something in the garden with you. And you might recognize that I'm standing in this midsection of the garden where the front garden melts into the midsection of the garden in that area where I was just working with you already on building the support system here for the wisteria. And isn't it looking nice? I still love it. So happy. And for those of you who watched carefully my last video, I mentioned two things that I want to improve here, and one of which is going to happen today. So just coming in my back now, you get to see this lovely grey concrete pillar that supposedly makes no sense, but initially it was supposed to make sense because the terrace was supposed to be bigger all the way out to here. So there is a second one here, which I'm trying to cover with an evergreen, and then there is a one here which is quite exposed, and I really thought about last year what to do. What am I going to do with that thing? And I came up with an idea, with two ideas actually, but one of which I'm going to do in today's video, so I hope you're excited about what I'm going to share with you today. So here it is in all its glory. Grey rectangle just sitting in the middle of a flower bed where it makes no sense. Even with the first signs of lichen on it, how beautiful. But I came up with a plan and tried to give it a purpose. So if I swing to the right, you get to see what I want to do. Ta-da! I want to use it really as a pole for an urn and plant it up. I think this is going to look so nice and so much better. I also want to paint it in the same color as the urn is, but that's not going to happen today because it's too cold and the paint wouldn't dry off properly. But I went to Germany 2 weeks ago and I couldn't resist to buy these things. I saw the urn in the garden center and I thought, that's it. That is exactly what I need for the pole here, and it will give it a purpose, and it's going to be so beautiful. And I can always plant it with seasonal beauty, and this is what I came across. So I found some beautiful ivy with a wonderful leaf variegation. So happy about it. Then I bought 3 primulas, and they are doubles. Beautiful flowers. They sat on the driveway already for a couple of days now, which means that the flowers start to wilt a little bit, but still. They come with more and more buds, which is beautiful. So I'm going to be rewarded with a second round of blooms. And then I have this hellebore, which I absolutely fell in love with the second I saw it. I actually bought 3 plants of these, so you get to see 2 more in another video. And it came even with a label. So this is Ice and Roses Barolo, just in case if you're curious. And I think the blooms, if you just look at it, aren't they just spectacular? This dark, rich color, and then with a stamen in the inside in the yellow. Absolutely wonderful, and a wonderful centerpiece for the planting. So this is what I'm going to do with you today. It's going to be a lovely planting video. The second that I put the urn on the pole here, I just knew, yes, this is right, this feels right, and especially now, seeing it with a white support system for the wisteria, I think this is going to work even better, and I'm so happy with that. So if you imagine in the future that the concrete will be painted in the same color as the urn, I think this will make it look really uniform and as if it belongs together, as if it was supposed to be like that. And then I thought, just to embed it even better, because I don't have any underplanting here really going on yet, I thought maybe buying some really smaller box spheres, couple of them, and kind of make a little cloud effect here. So there is a nice evergreen to kind of frame everything and give it a nice texture. Because I think it has, I think it obviously has a very formal element. But then I have a lot of perennial grasses here. I have a lot of perennials in here. But then even if I put some box spheres in here, which have a formal element, but more put them into a cloud effect that kind of mixes everything together really nicely. And especially having an evergreen, I think, would also help to make sure that that does not sit so idle here, to kind of like frame it all year around a little better. I really think that it looks really well together with a wide support system of the wisteria. And also wisteria for me is such a whimsical plant when you think about it, with these really beautiful long flowers kind of like cascading down, absolutely wonderful in a purple tone. And then with the urn here, I think in general everything is going to look so well together. And it also gives me the opportunity obviously to change it like seasonally and always do something different in here and plant different things in here, which obviously excites me a lot. And since this is just next to the terrace, always get to enjoy this view now finally, so that makes me even more happy. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a crock in the base of the urn, fill it up with some soil, and then let's start the planting. first thing when planting a container is you come in with your crock, and since this one broke during the winter, I happen to have quite some of these. If you don't have one of these, you can always just use, for example, the base of a pot that you buy your plants in. Just cut it off and put it in the base as well. That works just as fine, but I have crocks now. So all I do is place it in here. Maybe not like this. Now it fell down in there. Can I still reach it? Luckily, I have small hands. These are always convenient moments. I can reach it. See? Here it is. Okay, so maybe position it now a little bit better, maybe like this. And then I come in with a second crock, just from that side. And the reason why you do it is simply to make sure that the soil that you fill in here doesn't get washed out immediately when you water it. So this is what I'm going to do first now. The delivery guy was just here and I received my first box of cannas. So excited. So this is a nice start already for whatever is going to come by the slope, because this is where they will go, but this is going to be another project a lot later. Alright, so first thing I gotta do is fill it up with soil, and I just use a general potting soil basically, because this is something you're also going to change more frequently, because depending on how long your plants are gonna stay in your pot, they are gonna root in, and then the soil is no good to plant any new plants in here. Also, don't fill it up all the way to the top, not like I'm doing it right now, because the plants that I put in here, they come with pots themselves. Okay, maybe I need to fill something back into... Yes, I do. Well, maybe not so much. A little bit into the bag. This is the one thing you might need to remember. And then, when you plant a pot like this, which is visible from all different sides, I go with two different methods. Number one, I just use one plant and I fill the entire pot with one plant and that's it. The second one is I have a center plant, which is normally like the tallest one. Like the hellebore is really beautiful. Grasses work really pretty as well because they have the upright growing habit, or you have those grasses that are kind of like arching over, which is really beautiful. And then since this is kind of like exposed on a pillar, on a pole, it'd be really nice if you have something that cascades down as well. So you mix it up a little bit. When you fill up planters, you can really squeeze as many plants in as you could possibly fit, especially if you plan on changing it multiple times throughout the entire year. If I would put in plants where I know they grow big and I want to leave them in for a couple of months, then I would put less plants in there, because also the more you put in there, the more you need to water it, obviously. But these are going to stay in here probably for 2 months now, 2-3 months, and then I'm going to change it to my summer planting. But yeah, this is just like a little information aside. One thing I'm going to do, I'm still going to put some fertilizer in there. And as usual, I come in with my famous organic bone chips, because I just have really good experience with them, because I want to make sure that the plants in here also have a good life. I'm not going to give them like any liquid fertilizer, I think. For the summer planting I will, but not here. So all I do now is I start with the center plant first, which is the hellebore obviously, and just get it out of the container. Maybe I should have done these things already before a little bit, because sometimes they are really stuck in their container. Okay, if it doesn't work, you can also squeeze it with your legs sometimes. See, this is the easiest way to do it. And then put it in nicely. Make sure that it's nice and level, which it is. Loosen up the sides a little bit. And that looks good. And I have way too much soil in here. I can really take more soil out. And then what I do, I have 3 of the ivy and 3 of the wonderful primulas. So I'm always going to do one and then the other. So I'm always like mixing it up a little bit and then try to spread it out evenly throughout the entire container. So I'm going to start with the ivy, with the first one, and it's so nice that it cascades down. This is the lovely thing about it. And then the next thing, I'm going to come in with my first primula. And you can really squeeze it in and firm it in well in here now. Make sure that it's not sitting on top of it, because then frost can come in and that wouldn't That wouldn't be too good for the roots, obviously, because the primulas, they set outside even in the frost already, so they are quite hardy, I can tell you, which is nice, because then once I'm done with them, they could go to the landscape as well. The ivy might potentially stay in here, because I really like the idea of something trailing down so beautifully. So I feel that ivy might be something, when I change the planting, that you're going to see again. And it's just so nice, especially now, because after I strip back everything, I have tulips in here, and I have spring plants in here. I have like the iris in here, but it really takes a while for things to come to life. I need to put more snowdrops in, because in one area the first snowdrops are really pushing through. But after I stripped back everything, I was like, this is such a sad sight at the moment. I can hardly look at it. And this is where I thought it would be so nice also to put something here where it is a focal point and I have some seasonal interest going on. And especially this time of the year. Like later on in the year it's nice, but the garden is so full of color and structure and everything that having this urn here wouldn't be that important necessarily. But now I think this is just like the best thing I could possibly put in here. Need to squeeze a little more to make sure that I can fit everything in here. And since everything's set on the driveway for a while already, everything is well hardened off no matter what temperatures I'm gonna get. So you're not gonna see what I'm doing now, because this is facing my side. And the last one. And you'd see how fast it is. Like planting up something like this is the fastest thing you could possibly do, but it makes you so happy. That looks well good. So now just backfill with a little bit of soil again. And then I come with a brush quickly and just brush it off to make sure that it looks nice and neat. And I need to inspect it from all sides now. But already going to clean it up. I'm happy. Oh, I think this is so good. I'm going to give you a closer look now in a second. Isn't it amazing how a project that is so fast can make you so happy? Because this is what is going to make me so happy. I'm going to see this every single day and I'm loving it. And I think Alfie's loving it as well. Right, Alfie? Do you like it? You do? Ooh, somebody at the front door? Maybe you want to check out? I think she wants to check out. I'm going to show you still what I did and how it looks now up close again. Super happy, as I said. I can't wait to go to the hardware store and buy some paint to finally paint the pole. And I think next week we're going to have some more mild temperature, so I think I might even be able to do it. And I'm also longing to go to the garden center and find some box spheres and really do some underplanting, because I think this will be so beneficial and beautiful in this area. But if you just look at it up close again, just the colors, how everything works together, like the double flowers of those pink primulas in combination with a really nice and dark, rich hellebores, and then the leaf variegation of the ivy. I think this is just a really wonderful plant combination, and I think this is also like a success for a good plant combination, because you have different textures and colors that work together well, but you could also do just one big impact. I could have only filled it up with 2 or 3 hellebores and that would have been just as brilliant as well. So I think there's always like the one or the other thing that you can do, but I can tell you what I'm going to do now. Alfie and I, there she is again, it wasn't too exciting whatever happened there at the front entrance. I'm going to go inside now, and I think I might honestly go to the garden center and check if I find some nice small box spheres. That would make me so happy, and I can smell a future project is on its way. You guys, that is it for today's video. Look, Alfie made it comfy for herself already. She's kind of just like, okay, I had enough for today. I was running around in the garden, so let's go inside again. I'm ready for a snack, and I think she is, and so am I. So this is what we're going to do, but I still want to give you one last sight onto the beautiful pot that I made. And what excites me most is that this is not just a project that I did. It's over with. This is something that evolves, because I can't wait really to paint the concrete, to underplant it. In summer, I'm going to change the planting. So it's an area that you're going to see over and over more often again. I'm also going to share with you where I am going to plant the hellebore and the primroses into the landscape, because they are hardy and this is so much fun about it as well, obviously. But yeah, this is it for today's video. I hope you had fun. I would love to welcome you in my garden very soon again. Up until then, guys, take care. Bye.